basically give it all away and farm it out to the White House to use in its own discretionary capacity. That is not something that you would expect a speaker to see. But then again, in the age of Donald Trump, where every member of the Republican conference is on a daily basis faced with the litmus test of be loyal to the Trump administration or take back some of Congress's power of the purse, we now see how Republicans are handling that. Even if Johnson doesn't like that the courts are questioning what the administration is trying to do, I want to bring in someone to the conversation who very much wants those questions answered and posed to the courts. Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia of California. He's a member of the new DOJ subcommittee in the House, which is set to actually hold its first hearing at the top of the hour. And so to that end, Congressman, I've got two questions for you. One that might seem a little procedural, but first, do you guys have, as Democrats in the minority on this committee, meaningful subpoena power here?
Well, look, we've tried. And I think that this committee and our larger oversight committee have even tried to get Elon Musk to come to testify. That's been blocked by the Republicans. Right. And so a lot of that's being negotiated still. But as of right now, we're prepared today to go in and ask and answer some really tough questions. We want to see Elon Musk, but we're also going to call out the corruption. We're going to call out the fact that we have essentially an unelected billionaire with almost as much power as the president of the United States. And I think we're going to bring the fire today. And so I think even though we don't have all the power that we would like, we're going to use every minute that we are given at this hearing to call out the corruption, the lies, and I think we're going to bring the fire today.
There's some that may question why Democrats are participating in a committee like this if Republicans are cutting you off at the pass with subpoena power, and wondering if y'all being on committees like this doesn't validate or normalize the work of DOJ, which is certainly going about in anything but normal capacity here as it tries to basically rip out root and stem various parts of government, even agencies themselves. What would you say to folks like that?
Yeah, I would say that, first, I have zero interest working with Marjorie Taylor Greene, our chairwoman on this committee, or the House Republicans on this committee to help them with anything as it relates to DOJ. What we're there for and what we're there to do is to fight, to push back on the lies, to bring attention to what's going on right now at our agencies, and to make sure that people know that we are going to fight every single day to ensure that we get Elon Musk out of our private information. So it's important that we are there. Look, if we weren't there, they would have the entire committee essentially to themselves. But let's make no mistake about it. We are not going to be working with the House majority, and we're certainly not going to be working with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think folks today are going to see us get really engaged and ask really tough questions.
Well, and Congressman, it's pretty. It's pretty predictable what's going to happen today. I think we're going to hear about the most outrageous examples of government waste. They're going to be programs that would be unpopular with most Americans that are in some of these agencies. And so that's going to be what Republicans are likely going to be doing. Are you and other Democrats going to be not just bringing the heat, but also the light, explaining how USAID also has promoted programs like PEPFAR, a Republican president's program that saved 25 million lives in Africa, how it also increases America's soft power, not only in Africa, but also across the globe. Are we going to hear that side of the story as a counter to all the examples of waste, fraud, and abuse that Republicans may be bringing forward?
You are. You're going to hear about why programs at the Department of Education are so critical, for example, for families with children with disabilities. You're going to hear why foreign aid is actually not just good for our allies and national security, but for America's farmers. You're going to hear why it's important to have consumer protections in the government for people when they actually are scammed by credit card companies and by fraudulent banks. These are all programs that the American people like, that they use, and are critical to our national security and the economy. And so you're going to hear all of that. You're also going to hear about why it is that we have this group of essentially Doge bros running around with little experience, certainly not government experience, and given the power to access our personal data. They're going into our Medicare and Medicaid systems, into our Social Security systems. This is, I mean, people, I rightly so, are outraged about this. And so those are the questions that we're going to ask. We're going to highlight the programs, what we think are really critical that are being attacked, and remind people that there are millions of federal workers and people and contractors across this country that are now receiving layoff notices, emails not giving them any warning about work. There are contracts to America's farmers, manufacturers that they are receiving now, and their contracts are being eliminated. This is impacting everyday people, and we're going to remind the American public of that today.
Everyday people, not just in blue state America, but almost disproportionately in red state America. You take my alma mater, the University of Alabama. It is the largest employer in the state of Alabama. The impact of some of these cuts would be devastating on the University of Alabama and other southern and Midwest state schools across America. Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia of California, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And coming up, we're going to get to the latest economic news as a key inflation gauge was released just moments ago. CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin joins us to break